Welcome again to the 7 steps for preparing well for a leadership transition. My name is Chris McClure of Lead Life Big Coaching and Leadership Training. We've been going through these steps that are important to prepare well for a transition. And I don't know that any step is as important ultimately as this next one. Now, it falls within this process at step number 5, but the importance of it can't be argued, I don't think. And it's this: to communicate your plan. Communication seems to be the one thing that I always hear across different organizations that is a frustration. You can never over communicate. And the problem with communication is we hear what we filter and what we want to hear. And so therefore a message that is given may be intended with one instance and one purpose and intent, but what is heard is completely different, right? And so when you're going through this process of defining the role and defining the key tasks and identifying the qualities of your leader and developing a timeline, this next step of communicating your plan is vitally important. And I think it's important for a few reasons. One is you need to let your organization know, here is a plan. We have a plan. We are doing this strategically. But secondly, getting buy-in is so important, and communication helps with that buy-in. You can't get buy-in without people knowing what they're being asked to buy into. And so, what I've often heard it said, and I think it's so true, is that until you're tired of hearing yourself talk about the plan, it may not even be getting heard yet. Because when you're on the inner workings of putting a plan together and doing all this upfront work, you've been working on it for maybe weeks, months, even years sometimes in different situations. And so for you, it's old news. But for other people, it may be the first time they're hearing it. And they may have other questions. They may have other insights. This is a plan that you want to kind of keep as a living plan, living document, that as you communicate it and as you get feedback from the people that you're communicating to in your organization, what are they seeing maybe is missing or seeing that maybe needs to be adjusted? See, as you communicate, it shouldn't just be one-way communication. It should also be a way to get feedback and get insight from those who work in the trenches in the organization. So there might be things that you're thinking about from a high level, but you maybe are missing from, just you're not in the trenches as other people are at times that could see things, see gaps in the plan. And so this is an opportunity. As you include people, you get buy-in. Inclusion leads to buy-in. So if you include people in the process, you communicate well, you communicate frequently, and I'd also say communicate in many various means. So some people like to be communicated to in written form. Others it's spoken. Others it's video like this. And so how are you communicating to your people? Do it in different mediums so that it is truly heard, and give them opportunities to ask questions and give them opportunities to share their insights. Especially when there's a major leadership transition for the organization, it's really valuable to get that feedback from people. If it's a transition on a team, then include the team in the process. Hopefully throughout this process the team is being included, but especially now, even if you've drafted the role and the key tasks, and you've drafted up the characteristics of the leader, and you've drafted up the timeline, you've done those 4 steps, bring that to your team and then ask them, what am I missing? What do we not have in here that we need in here? What needs to be edited or adjusted at all? What are things that I'm seeing that maybe you don't see as important, or what are you seeing that I'm missing? Asking those types of questions, communicating well, and asking for involvement will go so far, because this transition of any type of leadership transition it can be difficult for a team and an entire organization. So the more people that are actually bought into that transition, the more success that new leader is going to have, and the more success the company or the organization is going to have, because you have invested up front. So communicate, and then when you've felt like you're tired of communicating, communicate some more. You can never over communicate, because people tend to, like I said, only hear what they want to hear, or they have a certain filter that is not hearing certain details, or maybe they hear you for the first part but they don't hear the second part. Whatever it is, whatever the hold up or the hang up is, we need to over communicate so that we can have success. So once again, I'm Chris McClure from Lead Life Big Coaching and Leadership Training. I look forward to connecting you next time on step 6, which is to invest in your current team members. Once you've been building out this plan, it's time to invest in your team members so that they can become the leaders that will help move the ball down the field with this new leader. Take care. I look forward to connecting you next time.